Hello and welcome to Current of the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben, and as always I'm hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And P.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about the man who won't die, the immortal Count Saint-Germain. Saint-Germain, Saint-Germain, however you want to say it. I might go with the French.
Saint-Germain.
Saint-Germain.
I've
Is
never
he still alive?
Potentially.
Right.
Last seen in the 80s, I think. But someone claiming to be him. We'll get to it.
Right, okay.
Right, but I guess I'll just say to start the show, thanks for listening. You can follow us at Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse on Facebook. You can like us and subscribe to us as at Apocalypse Bull on YouTube. And we're on SoundCloud and most other podcasting platforms as Cutting to the Bull in the PTA, because we couldn't fit the old name in.
It's not the Parent Teachers Association.
No.
No, definitely not.
Oh my god, do you think people that think that's what it is? It's I've never twigged to. Why have I never twigged to that?
I twigged as soon as I did it, but
I didn't
know the choice.
I did not. I've never twigged to that. In the 6 odd years this show has been going, I've never thought Parent Teachers Association. Fuck. Oh well. Let's start with Chigwell in the UK. These are new returning listeners. Cookham in the UK. Telford in the UK. Bit of a UK contingent this week. Foggia. I don't know how you say that. Foggia in Italy. St Leonard's on Sea. Sounds like somewhere that should have a home guard unit with Captain Manor in it.
Yeah.
Hermitage, Pennsylvania. Jenison, Missouri. Hanoi in Vietnam. Hook in the UK. Fort Worth, Texas. Hello, serving person. Probably in the US military, Fort Worth, gotta be, I don't know, maybe, tell us. Luxembourg in Luxembourg, Kennet, Missouri,
Yep.
Belfast in the UK, Zurich in Switzerland, London in the UK, I was in London for a long, long time, Stevenage in the UK, Houston, Texas, Guadalajara, Spain, Ashburn, Virginia, Dublin, Ireland, smashing it.
Thank you to everybody.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Like
Tell
I say,
a friend.
Tell a friend, tell several friends. If you're polyamorous, tell all your lovers.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're schizophrenic, tell all the people in your head.
Only counts as one person listening unless they've got their own accounts.
Maybe, you see.
Ah, that's a valid
Different
point.
personalities.
Yeah, tell all your personalities. Log in with all their accounts.
Especially Pineapple Charles.
Yeah.
So, the Count of Saint-Germain, the immortal man. Is he an alchemist who is believed discovered the secret of eternal life? I love alchemy.
Or is he a vampire?
No, not this is a
people-
day-walking vampire.
For people that don't know what alchemy is, Ben.
Alchemy is the pursuit of turning mainly base
Base
metals
metals.
into gold, lead into gold for example, and immortality if you can make a philosopher's stone. It is not like Harry Potter says, I'm going to cut you off right there, Pete. There is not a philosopher's stone, you can make a philosopher's stone
And how's that meant to make you immortal?
by a various...
Sticking it up your bum.
I think you're meant to eat it. Even though it is technically your own urine, we'll get to it.
What? I was going to say, before that, I was like, I'll make some on the weekend, but maybe not.
Do you know, straight away though, you've given me a cross path on that. What's his tits?
Nicholas Flamel.
No.
He also features in Harry Potter. He's the world's most famous
Yeah,
alchemist. But that's obviously, they've just nicked his name. That's nothing to do with the actual person.
Man behaving badly.
Mike Clunes.
No, the other one.
Neil Morrissey.
Neil Morrissey. Right, Neil
Obscure 90s
Morrissey.
British sitcom trivia.
He did a thing a few years back where he was like going on this mad fucking venture to find like youth, essentially, to find ways to make yourself youthful and things like that.
Youth.
In a way, in a real
Was he trekking through the jungles?
all sorts, but it was all based around piss and drinking your own urine,
Ah, okay.
things like that.
Yeah.
And
you know what,
genuinely, it proper. From what it seemed on the programme, it took his wrinkles away because you wash with it, you drink it, and it was working. And he was at this place for a while, like
drinking his own piss.
Man, look it up at some point. It was
Right,
really
I will.
interesting.
Neil,
But
honestly,
there's a
go
link
insane.
to that. You say the Philosopher's Stone's made from piss, then there is a link there because they believe that there is life.
It's your
longevity-
essence, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're pissing away your essence.
pissing your soul away.
I'm going to say it now. Like, recently, there was a website started up, and it told you how to make a Philosopher's Stone in steps. And it involved various sort of boiling, freezing, distilling, all sorts of stuff with your own urine.
Right.
And it estimated it would take you anywhere from sort of 6 months to 3 years to get it right.
Whoa.
Right? And just as people were starting to get to the final step, and they're like, okay, I've got it now, it looks exactly like the picture you've demonstrated on the website, what now? And the website vanished.
Just a pranker, innit?
It's an elaborate prank,
Yeah, it's a good one. People to fucking boil their piss for 3 years.
but was it Kent Saint-Germain reaching out and then he's getting shut down? Using the internet to get there? Well, he could still be around now. He probably is still around now. Potentially.
Allegedly.
If you're listening,
Yeah, if you're listening,
get
Kent
in touch.
Saint-Germain, this one's for you, baby.
Get in touch with us. Let us know.
Send us your piss.
Let us know how it tastes.
Send us a bit of your Philosopher's Stone. We're all 40 now. Is it possible that a man can achieve immortality or to live forever? That is the startling claim of a historical figure known as Count Saint-Germain. Records date his birth to the late 1600s, although some believe his longevity reaches back to the time of Christ. Have you ever heard the tale of the Wandering Jew?
I've heard of it. I've not heard of the actual. I've not heard the tale. but
I'm
I've
sure
heard
it's an
of-
insult in
I'm
the
the same,
military.
yeah.
Why are you standing there? Why are you wandering around why are you walking around like the Wandering Jew? I'm sure I've heard
Yeah,
someone say that to
I've
me.
heard it, but
Right.
I don't know what it means.
It goes back to this tale while Jesus was carrying the cross out to the hill, getting, Passion of the Christ, getting whipped, asking Pontius Pilate to call me daddy, all that kind of thing. He lays down the cross, and some Jewish bloke in the crowd says, "You can't rest there, go on, get out of here, carry it on." And he says, Jesus basically says, "I'll carry on, but you won't rest until I return." And that is, he's then cursed to walk the earth until Christ returns.
Right. So this is who this guy is
Potentially.
Is what some people believe.
Yes.
And some people believe he may go back even further.
Some people think he goes back to Atlantis,
And he's actually an Atlantean.
an ascended master now, but we'll get to that at the end.
Atlantean.
So Atlantis was before the ancient Greeks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Supposedly.
Supposedly, yeah.
According to...
What do you mean, supposedly?
Was it Plato, was it? Yeah.
Interestingly, the whole concept of alchemy stretches back to Atlantis. If you're familiar with-
Alchemy stretches back to when gold was discovered.
It goes back to Atlantis and the Egyptian god Thoth. Thoth is the god of knowledge, and he's the guy that basically he's an Atlantean, who when Atlantis fell, he was out on ambassadorial duties, ended up in ancient Egypt, taught the Egyptians, gave them knowledge,
Allegedly, yeah.
allegedly. Passed that down as alchemy, became alchemy, things like lost, civilizations rise and fall. So there is a potential that Saint-Germain is Thoth. Maybe.
So a god walking amongst us, basically.
Effectively. So there you go. What do you think that's so far?
I'm convinced we might as well end it there.
How's that for a brain fart? So, even as recently seen as the 1970s, always appearing to be about 45 years old. He was known by many of the most famous figures of European history, including Casanova, Madame de Pompadour, Voltaire, King Louis XV, Catherine the Great, Anton Mesmer, and others.
Okay.
So who was this mysterious man? Are the stories of his immortality mere legend and folklore, or is it possible that he really did discover the secret of defeating death? When the man who first became known as Saint-Germain was born is unknown, although most accounts say he was born in the 1690s. A genealogy compiled by Annie Besant for a co-authored book, The Comte Saint-Germain, The Secret of Kings, says that he was born the son of Francis Rákóczi II, Prince of Transylvania. Because you have to accent Transylvania.
See, he's bloody Dracula.
Well,
You only call yourself a count if you're a fucking vampire.
Are those the rules?
That is the rules.
Them the
Count
rules.
Dracula, Count Dracula, Count fucking Dooku.
Count Fuckula.
Count Dooku wasn't a vampire.
It's the only other count I can think of.
You're onto something.
Extras, no. Count Fuckula.
Never watched
No.
extras, but yeah.
You don't get it then.
I could just remember Count Dracula and Count Dracula. If nobody knows what Count Dracula is, look it up. It's hilarious.
Well, it's a
80s
80s
cartoons.
British children's TV show. So,
Brilliant.
other accounts taken this seriously. Most say he was alive at the time of Jesus, also present at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD.
Is he in the picture of Jesus on the last meal? Is he like that
That
mysterious
is
man
actually
that nobody knows?
That is actually another theory that he was one of the disciples.
Isn't there
Yeah,
one
he's the
of-
one seen pissing into the wine bottle.
Turn that into wine, Jesus.
Make you live forever, this.
Wasn't there like
That's why you can try to curse him to live forever, because he didn't know it wasn't wine and drank his piss. Unusually vindictive from our Lord there.
Isn't there someone on that picture that they don't know who he is though, or something? I'm sure there was on that last meal one. They don't know quite who.
Yeah, but remember,
One of
Pete, they
them
didn't
is.
paint that as they were all there. That was done by Leonardo da Vinci in the
Well, I
1560s.
know, but
It's only what Leonardo reckons.
well, he might have thought it as well. He might have. Thought,
Oh, maybe he was
Maybe.
the Comte de Saint-Germain.
Yeah, man.
The other flaw with your vampire logic, though, is that Dracula only came from Transylvania when Bram Stoker wrote about it. Before that, he was from
Romania, yeah.
Wallachia, which is now part of Romania, I guess. Yeah, he wasn't from there until Bram Stoker put him there.
Yeah. But it's not a far distance from.
No, but we've got a living
Yeah, is it?
descendant of Dracula as our king,
What?
isn't it? Prince Charles.
King Charles.
King
right?
Charles,
King
now.
Charles, God bless his name.
He allegedly is descendant from Dracula. Says it himself, doesn't he?
I believe, yeah, it's on Phil's side or something. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Dracula was a real person. Whether he was.
Yeah, he was
A
a
vampire.
Vlad Dracula, who was
yeah.
the Prince of Wallachia, he held
Vlad
back
the
the
Impaler,
Turks.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
Vlad the Impaler, yeah. Well, Vlad Tepish.
So he was a real person, but not.
Charles is descended from him.
Yeah.
Probably got a few bloodlines mixed up in there somewhere, yeah.
He probably had a hell of a lot of bloodlines, to be fair. Vlad the Impaler. Maybe not quite on the.
Not as many as the
Genghis
British
Khan.
royal family.
Dracula was
Bit of a
just
shagger, was he?
second name.
Well, he wasn't called Vlad the Impaler for nothing,
Hey.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Hey, he's not a pun
impale
through.
the heads.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm taking
well,
the crown.
Just declare, because
I'd love the pun tiara,
I didn't
please.
even hear the pun, but I'll hand it over.
Him being Vlad the Impaler.
That's
There
why
you go.
Thank you. He picked up as a crown again. King of puns for
So
the week.
Dracula
King of puns
would
for 2
just be
weeks, by default.
Dracula would just be a second name, wouldn't it? Until somebody attached the myth and the story to it about,
his name was Vlad Dracul.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Or Vlad Tepish.
Yeah.
I think Dracul was like a lord kind of title.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, back to the Comte Saint-Germain, who may or may not be Dracula. What is unanimously agreed on, however, is that Saint-Germain became accomplished in the art of alchemy, the mystical science that strives to control the elements. The foremost goal of this practice was the creation of projection powder, or the elusive philosopher's stone, which it was claimed when added to the molten form of such base metals as lead could turn them into pure silver or gold, and obviously become an elixir that you then grants immortality to you. There you go. So Saint-Germain first came into prominence in the high society of Europe in 1742. He had just spent 5 years in the Shah of Persia's court, where he had learned the jeweller's craft. He beguiled the royals and the rich with his vast knowledge of science and history, his musical ability, his easy charm and quick wit. He spoke many languages fluently, including French, German, Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian and English. And was further familiar with Chinese, Latin, Arabic, even ancient Greek and Sanskrit, and apparently conversational Polish.
No fucking way. That even 3 languages fluently is quite a fucking feat. How many's there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 fluent, and then what? Another handful pretty good.
Yeah, I knew a guy who spoke 6 after his, 7 including his mother tongue.
Oh, it's amazing.
And that's the most I've ever known anyone.
What, fluently?
4 fluently and 2 conversationally.
No way.
Because he was the guy who he left and I took his job. And he had this Ghanaian guy working with him, and he'd lived in Spain for years and was more fluent in Spanish and English. And he would switch from English to Spanish with him. And he'd talk in Spanish to him because they understood each other better. And then he'd go and talk to someone else and be in English, and then he'd talk to Polish to the lorry drivers. Crazy. And let's not forget the languages. He's also an accomplished violinist. Apparently his violin playing was so good it made people weep for its beauty.
Oh.
He was a composer. He was a great guy to be around. He had stories. He spoke about history as if he was there.
Sound a bit godly, doesn't he?
You know, and people try and trip him up. Historians try and trip him up and say, well, you know, asking him obscure facts. And he's just like, well, yeah, that's because of this, that, or the other. And he knows why. No one can seem to trip him, find any sort of flaw in his. You know, why is this guy so fucking awesome? So it might have been this extraordinary learnedness that led acquaintances to see that he was a remarkable man. But an anecdote from 1760 most likely gave rise to the notion that Saint-Germain could be immortal. I say anecdote, we are talking... The people who are named in these are real historical figures. They're at court, eyewitness accounts, we could probably call them, rather than anecdotes, I think.
Right.
Historically recorded.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe I'm being a little generous. Then again, isn't everything just an anecdote?
I'd be profound then, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You fell flat on your face, didn't you?
Fantastic.
Tumbleweed went past and everything then. Well, funny.
Someone will like it. Someone will get it. Just went, oh, I'm on another level. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it must be.
I'm having a Trump moment.
You are on a different level to us. Yes, we'll go with that.
On the spectrum, maybe, yeah. So, in Paris that year, Countess Van Georgi heard that a Count Saint-Germain had arrived for a soirée at the home of Madame de Pompadour.
Oh, I want to go for a soirée at the home of Madame de Pompadour.
Definitely.
I tell you what, 1760s France, just before the Revolution. Oh, it's like now, but if you're a Tory MP.
Yeah, if you're the 1%.
If you're these aren't even the 1%, Mike. These are the 0.01% of France.
If you're the 99%, you're literally
You're done,
in
peasant.
shit. Yeah.
In this point in France, you know, you're starving while these fuckers are eating cake and drinking champagne every day.
Brexit Britain, isn't it?
Vive la Revolution! Now, the elderly Countess Van Georgi was curious that she had known a Count Saint-Germain while in Venice in 1710. Upon meeting the court count again, she was astonished to see that he hadn't appeared to age, and asked him if it was his father she knew in Venice. No, madame, he replied, but I myself was living in Venice at the end of the last and the beginning of this century. I had the honour to pay you court then. Forgive me, but that is impossible, the perplexed Countess said. The Count Saint-Germain I knew in those days was at least 45 years old, and you at the outside are that age at present. Madame, I am very old, he said with a knowing smile. But then you must be nearly 100 years old, said the astonished Countess. That is not impossible, the Count told her matter-of-factly, then continued to convince the Countess that he was indeed the same man she knew with the details of their previous meetings of and life in Venice 50 years earlier. So they said, he's travelling extensively through Europe over the next 40 years, and in all that time he never seems to age. And he's rocking up all over the place in different European courts over the next 40 years, and always appearing to be around 45. Obviously, as I said, he could play the violin like a virtuoso. He was an accomplished painter. Wherever he travelled, he set up an elaborate laboratory, presumably for his alchemy work. He seemed to be a man of great wealth, but was not known to have any bank accounts. Maybe because he could perform alchemy and turn metals into gold.
Yeah.
Although he never performed that feat for observers, obviously. He dined often with friends because he enjoyed their company, but has rarely seemed to eat food in public. He subsisted, it said, on a diet of oatmeal. I don't know if that's got to do with anything, but it's weird nonetheless. Maybe something to do with the piss.
It accentuates a sort of mystery about him, or he doesn't age and he doesn't eat.
Yeah, you never eat oatmeal.
So.
And oatmeal lowers your cholesterol as well.
Maybe that's a secret. Lower your cholesterol, you can live forever.
Yeah.
Do you mean porridge?
Yeah, well, oatmeal's the same, isn't it?
He makes it out of his own piss, doesn't he? It's pissy oatmeal.
Pissy porridge.
Yeah.
It might be something to do
porridge.
with oatmeal. Like affect you. It's got to affect your piss in some way. You're pissing out the remains of the oatmeal.
Well, it would just be...
You know what I mean? It's got to be in there somewhere, hasn't it? Traces of it. Maybe it's something that's going to be oatmeal piss makes the philosopher's stone.
Maybe.
Like if you eat pineapple and ejaculate, I'm told that it can taste like pineapple.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Or is that an urban myth?
Apparently cinnamon has the same effect as well.
And asparagus with piss, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
So
wanna
maybe the oatmeal has a similar
that only
thing.
counts if you like your golden showers, though, you dirty bastard.
For a bit of anything, mate.
Of course he's a deviant.
Well,
Look at what he comes in with.
yeah.
Piss and champagne parties.
Oh, shit.
He also prescribes recipes for the removal of facial wrinkles and for dyeing hair. He loved jewels, and much of his clothing, including his shoes, was studded with them. He perfected a technique for painting jewels and was able to fuse several small diamonds into one large one. So fusing diamond, basically.
That's impossible.
Not to a...
But, you know what I mean? But that is that's an impossible thing
Is
to
it?
do.
Yeah, diamonds are hard. You can't even
You
know.
can't infuse diamonds
You can't
together.
fuse them together and make them appear like they're one stone. Let's put it that way.
No.
I don't even know how hot it is to melt a diamond, in all fairness. It's got to be fucking hot, because
Fucking
they're the...
hot. And the pressure as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they're like the strongest thing on the planet, aren't they, diamonds?
Captain Research is on
I
it.
think that might be spider silk.
Yeah, they use diamonds to cut glass, don't they?
They use like
Diamond-tipped saws.
Saws and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, well, either
Pretty
way.
fucking hard.
He has been linked to several secret societies, including the Rosicrucians, Freemasons, Society of Asiatic Brothers, the Knights of Light, the Illuminati, and the Order of the Templars.
Fingers and a lot of pies.
Finger, what, if you're an immortal, Mike, you could be your fingers and a lot of pies. The renowned 18th century philosopher Voltaire, himself a respected man of science and reason. Voltaire, you ever read any Voltaire?
I know of him,
I
yeah.
know of him.
You know what Voltaire said? One of my favourite Voltaire quote is, God is not on the side of the big battalions, but on the side of the best shots.
Had to be a war quote, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just saying it's my favourite Voltaire quote. Just trying to bring a bit of classical literature into your lives.
Right, I stand by what I said. You can't. You can melt diamonds.
Right.
But you're talking nearly 800 degrees Celsius.
So that's quite hot.
So yeah. But basically, if you do melt diamond, it disappears.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it vanishes without even ash remaining.
Wow, so to fuse diamonds together.
Only a little carbon dioxide will have been released. Mad. Yeah,
Yeah.
so to do that, if was true, then
I did hear
magic.
an account where basically the King of France said, look, I've got all these little diamonds, I hear you can turn this into one big diamond. And he went, alright, give me this lab, give me this, time and money. And, went off, did it, came back with this massive cut diamond, and well, there you go. That's the story.
He didn't just blow some glass and like.
No, everyone looked at it and went, well, these are these small diamonds into this larger diamond. It's cut, it's a perfect stone.
So he didn't just super glue it all together.
No.
So what did Voltaire say of Saint-Germain then?
He said that he is a man who never dies and who knows everything. Throughout the 18th century, Count Saint-Germain continued to use his seemingly endless knowledge of the world and the politics and social intrigues of the European elite. In the 1740s, he became a trusted diplomat in the court of King Louis XV of France, performing secret missions for him in England. In 1760, he performed a similar function at The Hague, where he met the infamous lover Giacomo Gerlo. Italians have been my favourite.
Just call him Casanova.
Casanova. I wanted to do the Giacomo Gerlomo Casanova. There we go. Got my tongue around it.
Nearly.
I just think, as soon as I got my tongue around it, I thought, clear my head, I went, just like a clitoris. And I made myself laugh.
You were probably thinking about his cock, actually. His penis. Get my tongue around that.
Oh, interesting you're projecting that onto me, Peter. You know? All that time in the Navy.
When you point your one finger at someone else, you're putting 3 fingers back at you.
Yeah, that's very true.
How's that?
Because them 3 fingers, they point towards Claire.
There's a flaw in that one.
He met Casanova. To quote him, he said, "This extraordinary man would say in an easy, assured manner that he was 300 years old, that he knew the secret of the universal medicine, that he possessed a mastery over nature, that he could melt diamonds. All this," he said, "was a mere trifle to him." In 1762, he travelled to Russia, where it said that he was complicit in a conspiracy that placed Catherine the Great on the throne. He then later advised the commander of the Imperial Russian armies in the war against Turkey, which they won. In 1774, he returned to France when Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette occupied the throne. He allegedly warned them of the revolution that was to come 15 years in the future.
You can predict the future now, can't he, as well? Fuck me.
Well, he's probably just looking at you going, I've lived through a lot of societies, and when everything gets this good up here and this bad down here, they tend to revolt.
Yeah.
You may want to knock it on the head.
Well, in America, yeah, there's never been such inequality ever in the history of the world.
What, as there is now?
Yeah.
In what sense?
In the sense that the inequality, the richest person to the poorest.
So the richest person has got X amount, the poorest person is living on X amount, and then...
About 4 billionaires own as much wealth as the bottom 50%. Mad, innit?
There's no revolution, though. Well, they'd like.
Nearly.
There's a lot of people who'd like to have a revolution.
It nearly was, mate.
Where?
Storming the fucking Capitol.
Oh, well, yeah, the January 6th. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Yeah, that wasn't a good idea. That wasn't. Here's in the video clip of the one guy who's at the Capitol building, and he's screaming at the police to do something. The police are stood there. There's like 5 or 6 policemen just watching them break into the building, watching them break windows. They're in full riot gear.
Staged? What do you mean all staged?
Well, the police were just like, yeah, just let them
No,
in.
the police had the same views as them, so they were letting them in.
Well, this guy is just screaming. He's like, "What are you doing? They're breaking in. Why aren't you doing anything? You're letting a mob loose. What are you doing?" And they're just standing there. They don't do a thing.
In fact, some of them opened the gates, didn't they, and let them in?
Well,
They were
you know what? Let's have an episode on this. Let's do
They
January
weren't storming
6th.
it. They broke windows, they broke in, and they threatened to hang Mike Pence.
Pooed on a table, didn't they? One of them.
Did they?
I think one of them shit on like one of
They
the.
stole the speaker's table.
One of them shit on a table or something. I'm sure I heard that.
One dude tased himself in the balls, had a heart attack. He was carrying a taser in his shorts, his jeans.
I thought that was a police officer.
No, that was one of the guys. He was like 50 years old. He was going to have a strong heart to begin with. Yeah, he had a taser shoved down the front of his jeans, and he sat down, activated it, and gave himself a heart attack. Which I found quite humorous.
Died from it.
That one woman got shot for breaking through the window, Claire. You know, everyone's calling for her to be named as a patriot and all this. It's like, nah. So you're breaking windows trying to get in somewhere, and you got Secret Service guys. They're going to shoot you.
The QAnon shaman.
The QAnon shaman.
He was jailed, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's still in jail. I believe there's a bit of a campaign to try and get him out at the minute, but...
I thought he was like, because some people are saying that he was mentally unwell, aren't they, or something?
I listened to a great podcast called The Coming Storm, which is about QAnon and Trump's rise. It was by the BBC. It wasn't bad, actually, to be fair. It was a lot of, very informative anyway, but the QAnon shaman, this journalist was like, saw him weeks before at a Trump rally and was like, I'm not interviewing him, he just looks like you're an American nutter. And then he sees him storming the fucking Capitol building, he goes, I wish I'd have interviewed him back then. 1779. He went to Hamburg, Germany, where he befriended Prince Charles of Hesse-Kassel. For the next 5 years, he lived as a guest in the prince's castle at Eckernfjord, and according to local records, that is where Saint-Germain died on the 27th of February, 1784.
So he was dead?
Yeah, apparently. But apparently he's also been looking age 45, and he's been hopping around Europe for the best part of 44 years, always appearing to look the same.
When did it say he was
Born, yeah,
born?
yeah. I forgot.
Was it
1690?
So he's still 96 years old there.
That's if the obviously other stories aren't true, and he's maybe older.
But if he was born then, he's still 96 years old there.
Looking 45.
Which is... But even if he didn't look 45...
Everyone says he looked 45, no
even
one's
if
saying he looks any older.
But even if he didn't look 45 and he was just a 96-year-old man, he's
That's
fucking
extraordinary.
old for 1700s, 1800s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, very old.
18th century. That is...
But it's still within the
you're
life of a
talking
normal human.
average lifespan of an adult male there would have been about 50.
Aristocracy,
If that.
aristocracy,
If that.
the aristocracy might get a bit
different.
older, but,
Yeah, but even
remember,
then-
he's only got to cut his finger, he goes septic, and he's dead.
Yeah. But it's not
Still
out of the
dying,
realms.
there's still got the flu, the
It's
plague
not
rocking
out
around
of
in
the
this
realms of possibility that an old man could live
Got
to
to
96.
96.
No, it isn't.
No. But what I'm saying
It's a
is,
normal
but even
lifespan.
that in itself, if he was 96,
yeah.
what a fucking feat that was in
Yeah.
them days.
But it's a hell of a difference from being immortal
Yeah.
to being 96, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Praise him for
Yeah.
being 96, but
But looking 45,
Yeah, but you say...
when was the last time that they say, look, 45 wasn't that the 60s?
well, the 1760,
Yes, that was
1762.
25 years before.
I've
So he would have been in his early 70s.
I've
Some-
known 60,
some people
70 year
70.
olds
Some
that
people
don't look
age
much older
well.
than
Yeah.
45, 50.
Yeah.
My mum, for instance, she's
And
nearly
obviously-
70, and you wouldn't think she was out of her 50s.
No.
No, he might have 75. Oh, you wouldn't put him at 60, you put him at 60 easy.
So in them days as well, having a slight less concept of old people,
Don't you know I
because
said that though.
they don't really see old people as much.
No. The last time he was seen was 10 years before when he was in France.
Yeah.
But then there was that woman, Madame Pompadour,
Madame Pompadour's mate, the Countess de Georgia,
that, that met him 45 years, 50 years prior.
50 odd years. She was like old at that point.
Yeah, and he still looked the same age, and that would have made him 90 then.
It could have
Yeah.
been his dad though, couldn't it? His dad would also have been the Count.
Yeah, but then he's telling her about all this, like, oh yeah, remember when we did this, remember when we did that?
Yeah.
Well, I bet so-and-so, he was at the court, how does he know all that?
Or maybe he was a little kid and he was hanging about with his dad at the time.
Well, she didn't say they're meeting her son, she asked, are you your father? Oh, are you your father?
Or
Sorry,
maybe
that
she was
daft.
mistaken.
Well,
Maybe
I think
she
you
had-
clutch your straws, but the evidence is made up.
Maybe she was riddled with syphilis.
Tripping balls.
Maybe that
Yeah.
lead makeup she was eating,
Yeah.
and giving her lead poisoning. It was using, it was eating her face even.
Eating off them lead plates.
But what if he's not dead? For any ordinary mortal, that'd be the end of the story. But not for the Count Saint-Germain. He would continue to be seen throughout the 19th and into the 20th century. In 1785, he was seen in Germany with Anton Mesmer, the pioneer hypnotist. Some claim that it was Saint-Germain who gave Mesmer the basic ideas for hypnotism and personal magnetism.
Well, that's a year after his death, isn't it?
Yeah.
That could have been a weekend at Bernie's thing, couldn't it?
Well, he suggested a couple of his mates dug him up and took him to another part
For a
of
laugh,
Germany
yeah.
and told Anton Mesmer, who I love the fact that mesmerising, he obviously comes from his name.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
God, he says like a Batman villain, Anton Mesmer.
Yeah.
You know, just like and these two guys just came up with hypnotism and personal magnetism theories. Claire, what do you think?
It's not a weekend at Bernie's thing, is it?
Is that not weekend at Burnings? You see how clutching
Obviously
straws
not,
here?
I was joking.
No.
No, we knew you were deadly serious.
We
then.
knew you were deadly serious. You're clutching at straws. We're all on board, aren't we?
Oh, surely they would have buried him or you know, give him a good send-off when he did die, so... Because all of his mates were quite rich and that, and they're not just going to...
They may have embalmed him. Stuffed him.
kept in the cupboard soaked in gin. Official records of Freemasonry show they chose Saint-Germain as their representative for a convention in 1785. After the taking of the Bastille in the French Revolution, again, official Freemasonry records are choosing the Count of Saint-Germain as a representative. You'd argue the Freemasons are pretty good at keeping historical records, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
Going on a little tangent, but still, I was watching this programme last night. It's called Fact or Fiction, and it's got him off bloody Star Trek, Riker.
I've watched that before, yeah.
Rockrolled, isn't it?
Is it on Netflix? Yeah, I know what you're
At the end, they tell you which stories are facts or fiction.
It's like 90s, that, isn't it?
Yeah. And there was one last night where, there was this funeral parlour, this lad was in, his mum and dad and all went out. Someone knocked the door and said, "Oh, you got to let me in, I've got to see the body," and da-da-da, And he was like, "Oh, well, it's after hours, And he goes, "Oh, I've got the medals, his war medals that he needs to be buried with, and da-da-da." And he was like, "Oh, okay, I'll let you in then." Let him in, he went to the body, the lad come out of the room for a minute, and then was just like thinking, "Fucking hell, he's taking ages." He walks back into the room, where the body's laid up, and the guy that had just knocked on the door was the body, and he'd got the medals on his chest like that, and so the dead body.
Oh, so the guy who came in with the medals
was the fucking
the ghost of him, like
the deceased, yeah.
Well,
like
and
the
that one
spirit
was,
of him.
Well, yeah, that was real. So
wow.
that's where it
That
links
really
in.
happened, like.
Yeah, because I was just like, "That's bullshit, that is." Jamie's like, "Yeah, I think that was bullshit too. That's my husband." So yeah, stranger things have happened, haven't they?
Yeah, like Nazi becoming Pope.
Yeah, like people liking Coldplay.
Like Ben liking anything. You know what I mean?
Coldplay
Stranger
fan,
things
please.
have happened.
Coldplay fan.
No, just everything you like. Hate
like
them,
a bit of
hate
Coldplay.
her,
He'd like
hate
to-
them.
I like loads of stuff.
Other than beer.
And war.
Yeah, other than beer and war. And
That's
Winston
harsh.
Churchill.
No,
Well,
Churchill's
come
a
on.
mixed bag for me.
See, there you go!
I think he was a bit of a cunt.
I think he was a complete cunt. He was probably the cunt we needed at the time, which
Yeah,
was being a
definitely.
cunt.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the fact I agree with. I also agree that we wouldn't have won it without him.
Maybe not.
Anywho,
I like loads of stuff. Scrubs, I say, but Scrubs do. I like Scrubs. Brooklyn
Let's not go
Nine-Nine.
through the list of things you like. Could be all day.
Beer. Now, after the taking of the Bastille in the French Revolution in 1789, the Comtesse d'Hedemar, said she had a lengthy conversation with Count Saint-Germain. He allegedly told her of France's immediate future as if he knew what was to come. In 1821, she said, "I have seen Saint-Germain again. Each time, to my amazement, I saw him when the Queen Antoinette was murdered, on the 18th of Brumaire, on the day following the death of the Duc d'Enghien, in January 1815, and on the eve of the murder of the Duc de Berry. The last time she saw him was in 1820, and in each time he looked to be a man no older than his mid-40s. After 1821, Saint-Germain may have taken on another identity in his memoirs. Albert Van Damme, hope he's a relation, wrote of a meeting a man who bore a striking resemblance to the Count Saint-Germain, but went by the name of Major Fraser. There is a engraving of the Count of Saint-Germain, by the way, so you may have seen it, I guess.
No, I haven't seen it.
No.
I've seen it. It is in the article we went past.
but they all look like that in them days. All the engravings look like the same.
It's not
face.
HD 4K, is it?
They all had the same face with just a different fucking hairstyle and a fatter body or a skinnier body.
Usually the same hairstyle because they all had them powdered wigs.
Well, yeah, but genuinely, older paintings, the face, it was just people didn't draw faces as they looked. They just drew a standard face. So a lot of historical figures that we see probably looked fuck all like the pictures we have seen of them, because that was like almost like a standard.
You'd have to make them beautiful, wouldn't you? It'd be off you with your head.
Oh yeah.
Well, this was the other thing as well, and that was one of the reasons why they didn't want to show people's true
Do you think that's why everyone
looks and.
raves over the Mona Lisa? Because it's such a decent rendition of a
It
face.
probably was, yeah. That's probably it.
Yeah.
Because she's not pretty, really.
Yeah, because she has this no secret smile.
Maybe, but yeah, I think that might have been a QI fact.
Yeah,
that one.
maybe.
The fact that it was just people knew how to draw a face. That was it. So these artists would just draw a face.
Well, Van Damme, to quote him, said he called himself Major Fraser, lived alone and never alluded to his family. Moreover, he was lavish with money, though the source of his fortune remained a mystery to everyone. He possessed a marvellous knowledge of all the countries in Europe at all periods. His memory was absolutely incredible, and curiously enough, he often gave his hearers to understand that he had acquired his learning elsewhere than from books. So he's saying, like, hey, didn't learn this from books.
I was there.
Many a time he has told me, with a strange smile, that he was certain he had known Nero, had spoken with Dante, and so on.
Wow.
Major Fraser disappeared without a trace. Between 1880 and 1900, Saint Germain's name once again became prominent when members of the Theosophical Society, including famed mystic Helena Blavatsky. Ever heard of Helena Blavatsky?
No.
Oh, we'll have to do an episode on there one day. Basically kind of founded the Theor Society, which went on to be she was before the Nazis. I think she was dead by that point, but she founded the society and the beliefs. It's all about talking with enlightened beings, these spiritual masters and what they call the ascending masters. Yeah, it's crazy. We'll get into it one day. I don't know off the top of my head to go into it too much. She claimed that he was still alive, but then again she didn't always tell the truth, and working towards the spiritual development of the West. There was even an allegedly genuine photo taken of Blavatsky and Saint Germain together, and in 1897 the famous French singer Emma Calvé dedicated an autographed portrait of herself to Saint Germain. The most recent appearance of a man claiming to be Saint Germain was in 1972 in Paris, when a man named Richard Chamfray announced he was the legendary Count. 1972.
Bit of a jump, innit? From 1897.
Oh, maybe he laid low for a bit. He announced he was the legendary Count Old Richard, and he appeared on French television and to prove his claim apparently turned lead into gold on a camp stove before the cameras.
Well, no, he didn't, because that's never happened.
Actually, it did. I went into this because I was like, well, surely, if he's turning lead into gold, what the fuck? Right? Mm-hmm. This is my first thing. How is he doing that on camera? And apparently he did several times, and no one was ever able to disprove that it was gold.
Is there visual evidence of this?
It was on French TV. I don't manage to find any.
I think it's a fool's gold myself.
This is my point, though. If somebody had done that on telly, we'd know about that.
Or just done it full stop, and then, you'd have to validate it by testing the gold, wouldn't you?
But certainly, if somebody's done it on telly, we'd fucking know about it, surely.
Well,
I don't know.
He committed suicide in 1983.
Who, Saint Germain?
Richard Chamfray allegedly committed suicide in 1983.
Yeah, he claimed he was Saint Germain.
So, who was Count Saint Germain? Was he a successful alchemist who found the secret of eternal life? Was he a time traveller? Or was he a highly intelligent man whose reputation became a fantastic legend?
Yeah, I'm going with the third one.
I'm going time traveller.
I think what we've got here, to quote Highlander, is one guy running around for the last 400 or 500 years.
With a sword cutting people's heads off.
Bumping himself off, killing himself, leaving all his money to a son or an orphan or something like that who inherits a title, someone who died at birth, and he's stealing. This is records on being kept in the 1700s and things like that. You could do it easily. As we get more advanced and documents we get better, he can't die as often, can he? Or he can't live as long. People are going to notice more.
So you're saying this geezer is hundreds of years old or more, and he had got the secret of life.
But then he threw it away by killing himself in 1983.
Maybe that
did he?
Or did he? Maybe that was just him faking his own death to start a new identity. Maybe Richard Chamfray's run his course.
Not so easy to
And we go back to that internet, that website I told you about at the start. There's someone trying to pass it on.
What happens if he escaped the mortuary or something like that, and then they were like, oh fuck.
Not so easy to fake your death in the 80s though, compared to faking your deaths in the 1700s, 1800s.
imagine-
That's what I said. You know, it's a lot harder.
We
So
don't know how-
Did he end it because he'd been alive for a couple of thousand years, and he was like, "This world is going to shit. I ain't sticking around for this. I'm going."
what are you gonna say, Claire?
What happens if you are the mortician and he has sort of like, you know, so he does the death thing and then like escapes from the mortuary and you're the mortician and this body's just fucking upped and disappeared? Who are you going to tell? You're going to have to either sort of like...
Well, what you do is you're faking it, aren't
carry
you? So,
on, or people are going to go necrophiliac or whatever, aren't they?
Ah.
You know?
My first word's a zombie.
well, my counter to that is that you know how to do this. You've been doing it for fucking hundreds of years. Yeah, records are getting more complicated. So what you do? You've got a load of money. You bribe a mortician. You bribe a coroner.
You just wake the fuck up, mate.
Hang on a minute. We
Hang
don't
on,
even
let me
know there
finish,
was a
let me finish.
coroner. We don't even know there was a coroner.
Oh,
We don't know how he committed suicide. He could have left a pile of clothes on a bridge.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah.
With a note.
With a note. Yeah. And then he's
We don't know
got a
how
backup
cases.
ID. Or he knows someone at the birth. Maybe he works at the births and records office at this point. Or he knows someone in there who tells him a kid who died at birth, and he just go, "Oh, he didn't die at birth. Remove that. This is your new name."
Interesting.
Or he died.
That's how Conor McLeod's doing it.
Or he died in 1784 at the age of 96.
He's
And the
insane
rest of the
actor.
sightings after were just
Just people that look like
Yeah.
him, that fancied, you
yeah,
know.
lookalikes.
That know the same stuff as him, that can play the violin as well as him, that can know all these languages as well as him, that know all the
We don't know
backgrounds.
that, do we? That was at the beginning. It's never said that afterwards.
Mm.
Well, the other ones might just be grifters, mightn't they? Just, you know, riding on the back of his...
You got the
his
hypnotist. You got the
famous-
Freemasons. You've got after the Bastille.
The Comtesse
They
de
could've been-
Ganimard.
They could have been mistaken, and he died in 1784 at the age of 96. That's what I'm going with.
Or he's a time
Personally.
traveller and he's just like, you know, going to schmooze with people over the decades. Living quite a good life and he's having to, you know, look
like
like he's killed
94,
himself
not
off.
96.
You mean that when the crew of Red Dwarf gets that time
94.
travel machine and they end up getting, "You're friends with the Goerings?" Oh, yes.
I did bad maths earlier, by the way. I need to correct myself. It's 94, not 96. I was being a bit of a tired-headed, long day at work
96 what?
moose. That's how old he was when he died, apparently.
Only 2 years off, fucking
I
hell.
know, but how did I do that?
I never noticed
How
it.
did I go from a 4 to a from 6?
Well, it doesn't really matter that much. You know, we all make mistakes.
Does to me.
Alright, so the Count of Saint Germain.
Yeah, 94-year-old man when
Any
he
final
died.
thoughts? Is the whole Philosopher's Stone thing, like, is there such a thing as alchemy?
He's one of the TikTok time travellers now. Yeah.
Is that your theory? Is that what you're going
I'll
with?
go with that because it's
Yeah, Pete?
a bit more exciting than a 94-year-old man.
I'm going with the Robin Hood theory style. Like,
What
remember
the
how?
fuck?
No, remember how with Robin Hood there was many Robin Hoods over history.
Oh, I see what you mean.
There was like 3 that had been named over like a 400-year period.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so
So
it's just mistaken identity.
Or
He just found someone that looks like him and passed the flame on.
or not maybe not even that. It could have just been. If you remember, my theory of Robin Hood was the fact that they'd given a thief that did that kind of style
Robin
the
the
name
Rich
of
with
Robin
the
Yeah,
Hood.
yeah.
They did,
So
yeah.
somebody that's so clever and articulate and this, that, and the other. Did he kind of get given the name of
Yeah.
Saint
Oh, I
Germain?
see what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? So was he just 10 different
You
people?
remind me of the Count of Saint Germain. That's your nickname from now on. That's what we'll call
In a
you. Alright,
roundabout
Saint
way.
They
Germain.
just run with it.
Oh, he's run with it?
Yeah.
I'll go with that, Pete. That's saying.
Yeah, he's like a popular, like, bit of an
Almost
affectionate
like a
title.
fable. He's a fable.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
A know-it-all, isn't he? It's like for someone who's a know-it-all, we'll call him the Count of Saint Germain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Alright, maybe.
I like that.
So that's my theory, anyway.
I like
You
it.
think you
It's
are
a
the
good idea.
Count of Saint Germain?
See, look, passive intelligence on that.
am? See how clever I am? I am the Count of Saint Germain. And I still only look 40. You know?
Well, that's up for some debate.
Fuck off. No one thinks I look 40, actually, thank you very much.
They all think you're 50 like the rest of us.
The opposite, actually.
So are you part of the Saint Germain movement?
Maybe.
I think he's an alchemist. I think he's still out there.
I can neither deny or confirm, but
I want to believe in magic with a K, damn it. So Saint Germain Foundation, Count Saint Germain has a cult.
That's it.
Yeah. Here's a cult.
I'm the leader. Count Saint Germain.
The Saint Germain movement is a religious organisation headquartered in Schaumburg, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago.
It had to be in America, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, no offence, Americans. You do like your cults, though.
Yeah.
A major facility just north of Dunsmuir, California, in the buildings and the property of the Shasta Springs Retreat. There's also a facility in the Capitol Hill neighbourhood in downtown Denver, Colorado. The doctrines of the organisation are based on teachings of wisdom received by Guy Ballard in 1930. Ballard was hiking on the slopes of Mount Shasta in California and claimed that Saint Germain appeared to him and began training him to be a messenger. Ballard published his experience as a series of books, and the organisation's philosophies are known as the I Am activity, and its members are popularly known as the I Am students, and there are hundreds of these I Am temples and sanctuaries located in most principal cities of the United States, Canada, Western Europe, Australia, and locations in India, Latin America and Africa, where members come together every week to decree for the benefit of mankind. I love this idea.
So, how many followers are there in total, does it say?
It does not.
But there's hundreds of churches, essentially.
They chant his name.
Yeah.
You want to join this cult, don't you? I really do think you should.
You know what my motto is, Pete? Never join a cult unless you're running it.
I think Cutting Through the Bull should go on tour around America and like go and see each cult and say we're looking to join a cult, but we want.
No, because they wouldn't let us leave, Claire. Fucking.
Yeah, we're just wanting to see what you're all about, and then we'll come back at the end.
Look, here it looks like it's about to fall out.
I don't think that they're going to just let us just stroll in and, have a little trial run.
You got
They won't let us leave. That's the point of cults.
Oh.
And we're going to pay the money.
Oh.
Or
They always want your money, Claire. That's the problem.
there is one little flaw in this. Who's paying for our round trip of America?
I don't know, I was going to go fund me or something.
Yeah, once Claire gets a fucking OnlyFans page for new cleaning, we'll roll with it.
Topless cleaning by Claire. You heard it here first, people.
There's something we spoke about off air. Sorry, Claire. I did say we should.
Here we go. Worldwide, the religious group has over 1 million members in 1940, but it did begin to decline after Ballard's death. So I'm guessing still hundreds of thousands of people around the world.
The best of it is the video that Mike sent. They had this, and we're talking these properties, mate. They're lavish. There's a woman who was running this cult was called Mrs. Prophet. Obviously, profit as in
Money.
Monetary.
No, the other one.
Oh, right, the prophet.
Prophet, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Prophet. It's like, well, that's unsubtle. That's about as subtle as a brick to the face, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she was the leader of the cult.
She was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm guessing that wasn't her birth name.
yeah, I'm guessing that too, yeah. yeah. It's incredible, really. People form a religion out of everything. I used to really like the story. Love a bit of alchemy. Love a bit of immortals, me. I'd like to be immortal.
I just think we could save quite a bit of money on like Airbnbs, like going around America. Just stay with the cult.
Just join cults for a weekend.
Yeah.
Can we just have a taster session? Just 2 nights.
That'll put us up as well.
Just 2 nights, just a taster.
Yeah, but they'll still
Thank
take
you.
our money because they're a cult. That's what they do.
Do we still get to bathe with
We're gonna
naked
just
ladies?
do a runner every other morning.
Could do.
Out of their heavily fortified compound. Alright, should we do some fucked up facts?
Yeah.
Theme tune, please.
Facts, fucked up facts. Facts.
Fuckity fact, fuck, fact.
Fackety fact, fucked fact. Alright, we'll go with it.
Does anyone know where the germiest place in your kitchen is?
Yes.
Sink.
Nope.
No.
Sponge.
Nope.
Chopping board.
Nope.
The
Fridge.
floor.
Nope.
Under your cooker.
No.
The dog's arse.
No.
You yourself, you.
No.
No.
Something to do with cooking.
In the oven.
No.
The pans you use.
No.
For fuck's sake, Mike, just sounds it.
Utensils.
It's a food stuff.
Rice.
Flour.
Spice jars, apparently.
No one ever washes a spice jar. Do you? You never wash
A lot of
spice
people
jars?
probably pick up their spice jars after handling maybe
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the
Raw
food.
meat.
I'm fucking.
See, I don't.
See you later.
I'm terrible at shit like that.
I don't have a spice jar. I don't have a spice rack.
See,
A whole rack.
I'm really good. As soon as I've touched the raw meat, I wash my hands. Even
Yeah,
if I
me
know
too.
I have to touch it again in
In a
another
minute,
moment's
yeah.
time,
Yeah.
I wash my hands
Water
because I know I'll be picking up me spices or whatever. But I'm really anal when it comes to things like that.
Oh,
So
you eat raw meat?
I'm not bothered. You can come and test my spice pots, and I bet they're the cleanest ones.
In the world.
Yeah.
In the world.
Maybe not.
You
but
could eat your dinner off them.
yeah, you could. I'd quite happily lick mine. And when I go home,
Are we
I'm
still
gonna
talking
lick
about the
them.
spice rack?
Yes, I'm going to lick my whole spice rack when I get home. As Pete has diphtheria next week.
Yeah.
Well, don't
Please-
procrastinate on it, because that can be a sign of poor physical health. Procrastination.
Fucking hell.
Okay.
Oh shit.
So what? Procrastinate to overthink.
No, it's to put off.
Oh right.
Off
Okay.
something.
It's probably true actually. So those motivated people I know who
So putting shit
who
off.
work
is bad for your
out, who
health.
stay fit, who like have goals.
I best fucking.
You know, they don't procrastinate. They're always on the go.
I best hurry up and decorate my living room then, haven't I?
Couple of hours downtime and then sleep and back up again. It's,
Weird.
they're in the gym at 6 a.m. Some people, you know, that they exist.
Yeah.
Masochists.
Yeah.
Probably. It's an addiction. You know, we're addicted to other things. They're
Yeah.
addicted to that.
Yep.
I wish I could become addicted to that. in a moderate way.
Yeah. About 1 person in 20 can't visualise images in their head.
Wow. That kind of sucks.
That. I couldn't imagine that.
No.
No, not me.
I think I get the crown.
I know that's a pun.
I think it was.
I don't think I could as well when I was a kid.
Wasn't good enough.
It wasn't as good as the other one.
Fucking favouritism, that innit? Don't let the newbie have the fucking crown.
You're a newbie now.
Well, I should fucking hope not. But I still get treated like it.
Shut up, newbie.
Never had the crown.
Shut up. You've had the crown.
I don't think you have.
Once, I think.
Oh, have you?
Well,
Did it once.
make better puns.
And I think it lasted about 5 minutes.
I'll make better puns.
I'm always too tired to think of puns, though.
Well, that's not my problem. That's not the crown's
What
problem.
losers say.
This isn't a let's all have the crown now and again feat. Like some kind of participation medal.
Right, don't make it a competition, because you know I fucking have it every week now. Right, that's it. It's a competition. It's mine.
It's always been a competition.
Well, it is now. It is now. You know how competitive
So I
I
can
am.
all veto, it doesn't matter. You might think it's the funniest pun in the world, and I think us to go, nah.
Not even laugh. Not
Yeah.
a titter. Next, Mike.
The last known native speaker of the Arturas language, the language of a tribe near the border of Venezuela and Colombia, was a parrot.
Ah, no way.
I wonder if he knew that famous British explorer who went in after the lost city of Z.
Tally
Percy
ho.
Fawcett,
That's him, Percy Fawcett.
maybe. The Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia burns worn-out dollar bills for electricity.
Wow.
Cool.
That's pretty much what we're doing now, isn't it?
There's social commentary there.
Just with pounds instead.
Well, you're doing it with coal, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what they do.
Coal.
They're used up, aren't they? They've been recirculated. You know, they're not in current. They're not in the circulation anymore. Burn them. Yeah, why not burn them for electricity? It's cool as well. Let's face it. You can't use them. You know, they're torn and ripped and mulched, probably. I'd imagine.
I got a £20 note that looked like crinkled the other day. Now our new money is made sort of like out of plasticky, isn't it? Sort of,
Yeah.
it's not like the old stuff, but it looked sort of crinkled, like it'd been burned but had no scorch marks on it or anything. I was just like Constantine, and I was like, who the fuck is...
Sounds like a fake one to me.
Did it have a picture of the Queen with her tits out on it?
No!
Did it say 20 puns? Spelled Punds.
No, it just looked like someone had took a lighter to it, but it hadn't burnt it just crinkled. I was just like, that's weird, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there we go. Boom.
Next.
America's last remaining washboard factory
Yeah.
Okay.
sells 40% of its products to who do you think?
The Chinese.
The Sing
The
Factory?
Chinese!
They do a lot of laundry. Are we talking washboards, musical washboards?
Hey!
Oh.
Bluegrass and folk percussionists.
Hey! Because I was just thinking like a washboard, like they used to use back in the day.
Down by the river,
That's
yeah.
exactly what I was thinking. Do you know what? I was thinking like, poorest parts of Africa. I was just thinking like, who's going to use one of them as opposed to a washing machine? That's what was in my head there.
That's why I went to the Chinese, because they do a lot of laundry.
It wasn't. There was nothing like.
I was watching Archer Noir.
The other
with
60%
Chinese
must be to, what do you call them, rednecks?
So who buys them? Sorry.
Bluegrass and folk percussionists.
Okay. What's?
This is the last remaining factory in America that sells
Wow.
washboards.
There's only one washboard factory left in
It
America.
makes 10 a year, like.
Right, go on, one more.
Yeah, one more. High altitude flatus expulsion is the term used to describe the fact that due to decreased atmospheric pressure, mountain climbers experience increased flatulence.
Wow.
So due to the pressure, yeah, it's maybe like
It pushes it out your butt, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting.
that makes sense. I bet the same would go for diving, innit? The pressure of the water
Yeah.
makes you pop.
Yeah. Well, if as you're raising, if you're ascending through the water, obviously any air within your body would expand.
Yeah, but if you've gone
So-
down and you've got air in your guts, that's
Yeah, I
when
suppose
it
you
compresses.
yeah, it's different. I'm thinking like when you do an escape from a submarine, the way the air expands. But yeah, I suppose if you've already gone down,
Just launch yourself on the torpedo tube.
yeah, I'm sure there'd be loads of you left. Yeah,
Put yourself in a torpedo.
Was it James Bond that did that?
Maybe. Put yourself in a torpedo, take out the inner gubbins apart from the engine, put yourself in a torpedo.
Or was it the tuxedo?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
I remember
I
seeing.
don't think James Bond ever got shot out of a torpedo tube. He might have fired someone out of a torpedo tube.
I do remember someone getting shot out of a torpedo tube and thinking, well, he'd have fucking been just mulched. He'd have just been mulched come out, like...
I've never seen anybody fired out of a cannon except on TV, have you?
No. They don't have to do that one anymore, do they?
Don't they?
I have no idea, to be honest.
I bet they'd still do it in
Never-
America.
I'll be
Should we
honest.
bring it back?
Never really been to a circus.
No.
Should we bring it back? I'll be the cannonball. I'm quite happy to be the cannonball.
I'll get on casting that cannon right away.
Let's do it, man. As long as there's a safety net to catch me.
Oh no, Mike, you make the net.
No.
He'll procrastinate.
Claire can make the safety net.
No, why isn't Mike making the net? Let's give Mike a
crochet
role in
it.
this.
Mike's got the role of pressing the button to fire it.
Safety.
Is it because he procrastinates and he wouldn't get around to making the net?
It'd just be like that. Oh, I've put 3 stitches in it. It'll be right. It'll be okay.
He just turns up with a bed sheet and has to sort of hold it. He should land about here. His feet goes flying past.
It hits a tree.
Alright, well, coming soon, Pete the Human Cannibal.
Yeah, man.
Cannibal Pete.
We'll make it happen.
Just like Cannibal Pete.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't-
We'll think of something
Let's
else.
just go into that.
Amazing Pete will be fine.
That's that
He'll love
boozy.
that. He'll love that.
Sounds good to me.
Well, he's probably not going to survive, so why not?
Yeah, it's a good point.
And on that note, I've been Ben. Thanks for listening. Don't drink the flavour aid and don't join a cult.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out, may the force be with you.
And I've been Claire. Keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
And I've been Pete. If you don't hear from me next week, you know I've gone out with a bang.